And here's the first of what will hopefully be many Transformers Prime reviews on this channel. Transformers Prime Deluxe Class, Revealers, Robots in Disguise, slash whatever you want to call it. Transformers Prime Deluxe Class Wheeljack. I really dig the Transformers Prime Wheeljack character. I know a lot of people don't. I know a lot of people complain that, oh, he's not a mad scientist like he was in the original G1 cartoon. He's too much like Drift. He's too much of a ninja. He's too awesome. Blah, 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 blah. I don't care. I think that the Wheeljack character in Transformers Prime is just absolutely awesome. And the toy, I will say, right off the bat, it is really, really nice. It's not perfect, but I really do like it. It is a nice toy, I'll say that right off the bat. Anyway, as you can see, he's a futuristic sports car, just like he is on the show. I did hear somewhere, and I've forgotten if it was on Sabertron or TFW, that this is actually based off a real car, a concept car, if I remember correctly, not one in production. And if that's true, then A, this is a really, really cool car, and B, I think that's neat, because Transformers Prime does semi-take place in the real world, but it doesn't have any real solid real-world connections, but it is kind of neat that if they did put a real-world vehicle in it, I think that's really, really cool. I think that's nice. But anyway, not a whole lot to say about it. It does roll fairly well, which is nice. I overall do really like the color scheme. I don't really like the shade of red that they used on it. It's not horrible, and it is pretty accurate to the show. I think in the show it actually is a little bit darker, but it is a fairly accurate shade of red, but I really don't care for it that much. I think that it could have been used, and they could have just gone with a solid dark red instead of this kind of semi-orangish red color that they used. I really don't care for it. I do really like the fact that they painted the rims, which, as I mentioned, is something that Hasbro doesn't do a whole lot, and it really ticks me off when they don't. But they did paint the rims silver, which is nice. Real nice translucent blue windshield, which looks really, really cool. And overall, just a really neat-looking car. Not a whole lot to say about in terms of features. It does have storage for his swords underneath. There's these little slots in the sword that fit onto these little pegs right here on what will become his feet. They're fairly nice swords. You can see there's not a whole lot to them. In the show, the handles are red. And I'm considering painting them red, but they don't look too bad, so I don't know if I will or not. But it is really nice. They are made of flexible plastic, but it's very, very stiff flexible plastic. I don't think you have to worry too much about them flexing out of shape, because they are really solid, which is nice. You can, if you want, take both of them off, and there are these little pegs right here that fit into the slots on the front. And you can, if you want, put them on to have swords sticking out the front and creating what I affectionately term as the Walrus Mobile. Seriously, Hasbro, really, I don't really care for it that much. It's great for the kids, but nah, I don't know. It's still kind of dumb if you ask me, but oh well. We'll go ahead and take off the swords and go on to transformation. It's actually a really cool transformation. I really dig how this guy transforms. Very unique and very cool. First off, what you want to do is you want to split the windshield, like so. And then you want to take it, you want to bring it all the way out of the side. This will form his arms in robot mode. Then what you want to do is you want to split the hood, like so. Get that off to the side. Then you want to take this gray piece, you want to flip it down. This will form his lower body. Then with his legs, his legs are really cool in the way that they transform. I really dig how they transform. I think it's a nice way to transform the legs. And I don't think that it's ever been done on a figure before. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I do think that this is a fairly unique way of transforming the legs. Anyway, what you want to do first off is you want to go back here. You want to lift the legs up a little and get them untabbed from the rest of the rest of the hood. Then what you want to do is you want to rotate them up, like so. Then you want to take this piece, you want to slide it up, continue folding that in until you tab it in this little slot on the back of his leg. Push that in like so. Then you want to flip the whole hood of the car around, and then flip up his foot. And that's a really neat way to transform the legs. I think that's a really, really cool method of transformation, and I really like it. Do the same on this side. Flip that up. Push that up. Flip it all the way in. Then push it around to the side. and then flip up the foot. And then what you can do is you can take these pieces right here. You can leave them up if you wish, but in the show he does have them flipped down, and personally I think it looks better with them flipped down. I like these little knee spikes. I think they're kind of cool. And then for his upper body, what you want to do is you want to take this piece, you want to bring it all the way down, and about halfway between flipping it down, you want to push this piece up, and this will form most of his chest, like so. Then what you want to do is you want to take his arms, you want to rotate these pieces that they're attached to up and around, and there's this little slot right here, and there's this tab in the chest piece. You want to line those up and then tab it in. You kind of have to do both at the same time. It can be a little bit tricky at first, but if you fiddle around with it, you can get them to tab in. Then just close that up. Then what you want to do is you want to take these pieces and rotate them around. Then you want to take the lower part of his arm. You want to bring it down to get his unique shoulder pieces. Then what you want to do is you want to take the windshield. You want to pull it out like so. Then you want to rotate it around and then push it back in. And then flip down the hand and then push it forward a little bit. I'll do the same on this side. Flip that down. Flip the lower arm down. Pull this piece out. Flip it around, rotate it back in, and flip down the hand, and just straighten everything up. And then what you want to do is you want to take these pieces, you want to split them, and then rotate them all the way around to give him his shoulder spikes like he has in the cartoon. They're not quite as dramatic as they are on the cartoon. In the cartoon, they are a lot bigger and a lot more splayed out, but it still gives off the overall look, so I'm okay with it. And then give him his swords, which he can hold in both hands. And there you have Wheeljack in robot mode. And like I said, very, very cool looking design. I really, really dig the design of Transformers Prime Wheeljack. I think it looks very, very sleek, very ninja-like. A lot of people have compared him to Drift, and I think that that is understandable. But I really like the Drift character, and I just love the design of this figure and how it evokes just a ninja, and it's just really, really awesome. I think it's really cool. Posability is pretty good. He does have a fully ball-jointed head, which is nice. He does have a fairly nice head sculpt, as you can see. He does have the masked version of the face, so there's no way to get this mask to come off to reveal his mouth. I think it would have been nice if they had incorporated that in maybe a Voyager version of the figure, but oh well, what are you going to do? But anyway, he does have ball-jointed shoulders, which are nice. He does also have a joint here just due to the transformation to rotate his arm all the way forward, which is good because he does have an elbow joint, but there's no bicep swivel, which is a real shame. I think that if they had just scrapped that joint and given him a bicep joint, I think this would have made the figure much better. And that overall is my main complaint with this figure, is because a lot of these poses, a lot of the poses that you can put him in would have been helped greatly by the addition of a bicep joint. I think it would have been really nice if they had put a bicep joint in, but what are you going to do? Like I said, he does have a joint here, and then a joint here at his elbow proper, so he does have very articulate arms. He also does have a ball joint on his wrist, and then he has a hinge here just due to transformation. So he also does have very articulate wrists, so you can get his wrists and arms in a lot of positions, which is really nice. He does have ball jointed hips, which is nice. He does also have a mid-thigh swivel. It's a little bit limited in its forward rotation, but it does rotate back fairly nicely, so that is nice. He does have a knee joint. It's a little low set for my taste. That really is just how the figure, or not the figure, the character really is designed. He does have pretty low set knees in the cartoon, but what are you going to do? I still would have liked it if they had moved that knee joint up a little bit, but what are you going to do? He does also have ball jointed feet, which are fairly stable. They go back and forth, they rotate side to side, and they are fairly stable, which is nice. So overall, yeah, you can get a lot of poses out of this guy. Not as many as I would have liked. Like I said, I think a ball jointed, or a bicep swivel would have been really nice. But what are you going to do? I know a lot of people complain about the spikes made out of his windshield, but that is actually accurate to the cartoon. I went back and looked at the animation model. He does have these spikes on his arms. They're not quite as dramatic as they are here. They're a lot more cylindrical in shape. But he still does have them in the cartoon, so I think it is nice that they incorporated a cartoon-accurate element, even if it is a little bit much. I do agree that they are a little bit big, but still, what are you going to do? For some real quick size comparisons, first off, for a standard size comparison, here he is next to Bumblebee. So you can see he's a little bit shorter than Bumblebee. They are starting to downsize the figures, but oh well, what are you going to do? It's kind of an economics thing. I don't think you can really avoid it. And I don't have any other Transformers Prime characters to compare him to, unfortunately. At least not yet. But just for fun, here he is next to the Generations Wheeljack figure, which, like I said, if you're looking for just one Wheeljack figure, make it this one, because Generations Wheeljack is awesome. This guy's really, really awesome, too, but I overall do think that Generations Wheeljack is a better figure. It is kind of neat just to see the here and now comparisons between Wheeljack. Wheeljack then, Wheeljack now. I just think that's really, really cool. So overall, yeah, a really, really nice little figure. Definitely one of the highlights of the Prime line so far. I do plan to pick up a couple of more of the deluxe figures. The ones that are on top of my list are definitely RC and the Bumblebee figure, which I haven't picked up yet. I know, there's tons of them, but I just somehow haven't managed to pick them up. But I definitely will be, and I definitely will be posting reviews of them once I get them. So there you go, my look at Transformers Prime Deluxe Class Wheeljack. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.